Hello, my name is Phoebe Rains, and this is my digital literacy narrative. Due to my very, very loud roommates, we have changed locations. We are in a new environment, a new place. All right, let's get into it, shall we? I have not always been the best with technology since I was a kid. Even now, working my phone is oftentimes a problem for me, which is really funny because I'm 20 years old and don't know how to work a computer. But I definitely think that a time in life when I discovered that I could be digitally literate was in the younger elementary ed years. I believe that it was in the younger ages when I sparked an interest in literature. I always read to my parents before I went to bed. I was always asking to go to the library, picking up books, wanting to expand and broaden my knowledge within literature. I very much so excelled in reading in all grades. My SATs, even as a younger child, I took AP Lang. English and writing and reading were just all things that really shaped who I was as a person and helped me become the person I am. I think that this is because when I was in elementary school, they taught us about the Dewey Decimal System, and I became very, very fond of the Dewey Decimal System and how it worked and how it correlated and what books and what prints and everything, what went where within a library. The Dewey Decimal System became something that I was very, very fond of. I would create my own Dewey Decimal System for my own library at home. I would rearrange my dad's books, my parents, my dad was in college at the time, so all of his textbooks that he had, I would rearrange on the bookshelf and just make sure that everything was organized by the Dewey Decimal System. When I was in elementary school, I was very much so a teacher's pet, and my teacher knew that I loved reading and learning and everything about that. So one day, instead of going to one of our specials, like they did in elementary school, PE or music or something, she instead sent me to the library, and our school librarian was like, Phoebe, here's a computer. It was one of those boxy computers. She was like, you're going to help me turn in all of the returned books that students have been bringing in. And little 6-7-year-old Phoebe was extremely overjoyed at just the sheer thought. So I sat at this computer for a total of 45 minutes and helped our school librarian just scan books in and put them on the cart where they go, and then I would help her go and put the books away. That moment alone was definitely something that really stuck with me. When I was old enough, later on in life, I began to volunteer at our YMCA libraries, actually, and I would help them organize their books, again, followed by the Dewey Decimal System, and I would actually teach students how to use the Dewey Decimal System and kind of guide them and show them and put a little bit of knowledge in their brain, which is honestly kind of also something that wanted to make me an English education major. So not only did it help me become more digitally literate and understand how different technologies can enhance a student's academic skills and understand the way that a library, or not even a library, just proper organization works, but it also kind of made me open-minded to a career field that I hadn't even considered. I've always had a love for literature. I've always loved to teach, helping, educating, tutoring. That was always something that sparked an interest of mine. And so learning about the Dewey Decimal System at such a young age and being able to volunteer at these libraries and teach these students and help these people understand a technology that not a lot of people know definitely was overall something that I have been able to take away from learning about digital literacy is that it is everywhere and that everybody does it without even knowing. Something as simple as writing a paper on the computer or composing a story are things that people do that make them digitally literate. Understanding this type of technology and the English behind it is something that you definitely take away. And overall, seeing the different ways that being digitally literate at such a young age, especially with my generation, has shaped the way that we view literature is something that I find to be extremely fascinating and I'm glad that we were able to learn about digital literacy and expand our knowledge on it and broaden it to help us in the future. Overall, thank you so much for listening, and I hope that my view of digital literacy is something that you are able to agree upon and kind of take note of, and I hope you have a wonderful day.